Alright, oh boy, I wasn't going to talk about this subject. In fact, I was going to change the direction of this channel to the original subject I wanted it to be on, which was supposed to be more of an undoomed/bearing kind of deal. Calling out idiots and having a good time while maintaining a sense of some seriousness. Unfortunately, I've delved into the political sphere a little too much, and now I have to dig myself out. I digress. The subject is the Parkland shooting. Well, more than that, it's about gun control. Before we get to that, however, I would like to just address that there are some crazy conspiracy theories going on around about crisis actors. This happens every time there is a shooting, and usually I just pay no mind to it. However, this time, people seem to be absorbing the idea a bit more than normal. I'm not one to believe in stupid things, but it feels a little different. From the videos, the kids do seem to be scripted in a way. Furthermore from that, CNN and other news sites are actually coming out and trying to say these people aren't crisis actors. Now, in past situations, from my 30 seconds or so of research, I could have easily missed some of the more relevant articles. No defense like this came out for these people. What I mean is, CNN or other places never tried to come out and say they weren't crisis actors. So what is different this time? Why are they so quick to jump on this and insist they aren't? I still don't fully believe the crisis actor conspiracy, but it was just something I noticed. Something that seemed to stray from the status quo. The kids may not be actors, and they may be fed lines. I don't know, and I don't care to do more research on it. I just thought it was an interesting tidbit. Let's move on to gun control. First off, a bit of information for anyone in favor for this or any other type of large political legislation. Stop using other countries as an example. There is a reason all countries have different laws and legislation in place. There are several factors that must be considered, such as overall governmental systems, size of the country, population sizes, population densities, etc. All things that the US differs greatly in from the rest of the world. It is why no two countries reflect each other perfectly, nor ever will. The US is especially different from that of European countries, or say Australia, because of the pure landmass and in population density. We simply can't do the same things other countries do. I'm not saying arguments that implement this are completely invalid. However, they have to be accompanied with changes and ideas that would be more applicable to the US itself. One thing I have found odd is that more of my liberal friends seem to be posting more anti-gun law things. People I would expect to get up in arms and be on the more "they're crying, so we must change everything" side. Instead, I've seen much more "guns shouldn't be banned, maybe a change should happen, but we should be able to keep them" kind of posts. Personally, I am a constitutionalist. I feel that we should have the rights and privileges presented to us in our founding document, which includes the right to bear arms. Perhaps one change we can make is to have weapons be more like vehicles. Have people go through a class before they're allowed to own one. I'm not a huge fan of this sort of referendum, however. The only way I get behind this is if we implemented it into our school system. A high school elective that would teach children how to handle and be safe with guns. Obviously, strict measures would be taken. Possibly the guns would have to be fake or have the firing pins removed. Something along those lines. But something to introduce people to guns so they don't have to be afraid of them. Knowledge is power, and I think a lot of people simply do not have a lot of knowledge on this subject. With the class being an elective, then people who would want to take it could take it, and people who didn't want to have anything to do with guns wouldn't have to. The class would come with a lifetime certification that would allow you to possess and own weapons. Perhaps even have it as a moniker on your driver's license. That way you wouldn't have to worry about carrying around an extra certificate or card and worry about having to keep track of it or losing it. I felt that this subject should be addressed. I know my time was short with it, but I didn't want to be a Here's a list of facts and 20 sources in my description for you to look at kind of video. I wanted it to feel more like a conversation, which is what I attempted to do here. Spitball ideas. Even if I'm not the biggest fan of the ideas I presented, I feel that it would be beneficial and probably as far as I'd be willing to allow legislation to change or manifest. Above all, I feel that education is important for this subject, and many people are ill-informed or simply ignorant to the subject matter. Simple implementation to a school environment could possibly be one of the best solutions while being something I'm sure everyone could live with. What are your thoughts? How could we change without completely dismembering the Constitution? What could we do to make this common sense gun control? What could we do to make things better?
Well, if that hasn't got Oscar written all over it, I'll eat my invitation to the award ceremony.